Alright, so the last story is over. The new story starts. I'm gonna try to keep this one down as much as I possibly can. It is rather early. It's a weird part about I'm trying to see if I could get this done and over with. That's the thing. I had no idea it would go on for this long, which is a very good thing. But at the same time, I don't want July to be occupied with Sherlock Holmes at all. I have to be building something for someone, physically repairing something for someone. Then I have my own personal stuff I'm doing, and I also want to relax and do gaming every now and again. So I won't have time for much of anything. And I don't like to, when I'm repairing stuff for other people, stressing myself out, because I'm planning on using all the month of July just to fix this thing for them. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead with this and proceed forward, and hopefully I will be able to get to the halfway point in this. So I'm praying that the story is not long, because it will take me probably more than 1 or 2 days. So hopefully this is shorter than Kiwi Garden. Hopefully this is just as short as the Evergreen drama or affair, the Evergreen affair. So hopefully if it's as short as the Evergreen affair, I'll be happy. So I'll just proceed and continue this. I get straight into it. And tonight is the giveaway in Warframe starting at 9:30. Yeah, for the client. So if any client members ever watch this video today, around 9:30, that's when I'll be doing the giveaways. Nothing real big, no big deal or anything. But typically there's some good stuff and some random stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing around 9:30 Eastern
Where are
time.
you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We
Always
have been
Eastern
invited,
time.
Watson,
We have. Where to?
to the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Well, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, 'cause I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner. Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Holmes, poor little Wiggins needs our help.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there, and Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stud fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
What were the fireworks in honour of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
I see. You might have a little rare window situation going on here. So let's go over it one more time. He started from here, patrolling Half Moon Street, probably because it's known for being notoriously rough, making sure people do what they're supposed to do. Had his lamp, checking the sides as he stated, make sure there's no weapons or any type of shenanigans going on. And by the time before he even turned here, someone ran by him, he said, and he heard police whistles. So while he was walking here, noise happened. Someone backed the corner turn, and then he ran. As he ran forward, he saw that this window, the lights was off in this window, and the window was open. So as normal as things are, logically, during the night, if you have your window on, people could see inside your window because light is emanating from the interior. But if you have the light off, they can't see it. But you, who are sitting on the inside, can see outside where there are more lights. So it's a reverse situation. So it would make it seem as if he was watching everything from the window and making sure that no one sees where he was within the window.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
That boy got arrested by two police officers who came from the other direction. And apparently these two men were shot when he ran around the edge. He saw them as he was running. He got here. So as we was walking here, he said as he walked here, he was looking in the corners to make sure there's nothing. So he would have to stop right before turning the corners, because the only corner that exists before he gets to this edge right here would be here and here. So this corner here and this corner here. So after he went past there, then the person ran by him. Or after, as he was walking through here, and he looked to the corner here and here, that's when the person or people ran by him. And then he decided to run this way to see what was going on. Saw the two dead people and heard noise going on the other side of two police officers. And then he moved forward some more. You look up and saw that the room door was, a window was open and the lights were off. So the only thing that would make sense in this scenario is if the window is still open, for reasons I don't know why it would be still open. I mean, it would have made sense if the lights was off. That means that they were sleeping. But if the lights were on, it means they were home and they were doing something in their house, but the lights was off, so means they were either sleeping or they were awake and they saw what went on in this alley. But why was the window open? That's the odd part, unless we're talking about window that's open due to just letting air in, as in you lift it up and you're trying to ventilate your room. So there's nothing odd about that. It's not like they had air conditioning back then. So I would go with either the lights was on before the event happened here, and as soon as it happened, they turned off the lights. But they forgot to close the window. So why would they forget to close the window? They just turn off the lights and didn't close the window? Doesn't seem to make sense. From what I could tell, they probably either witnessed the murder or waited for the fireworks to go off and shot the jeweler or the ruffian. That's the only thing that makes sense for the moment, because they wouldn't need to have the lights on to shoot from that distance through that window, because you don't want anyone to see you taking a shot from there anyway. So either they saw the murder or the murder was inside that window and they took a shot, killed both of these guys. With regards to his statement,
Mr. Holmes, I had no doubt about this case, but now that you are here...
So let's check the body first, and then we'll proceed with other things and see where the bullet, depending on the angle of the bullet, it will tell me exactly, did the bullet proceed downward to his body, or was it a straight shot from a forward, or did impact from the bullet went all the way through? Because if the impact from the bullet went all the way through, could have been at close range. If it was from a distance, then it would probably still just penetrated the front of the body. I mean, this is not like a sniper weapon situation here. I don't think that they had like sniper weapons back then. They might have had modified rifles, but not enough to like go straight through the body and then pierce the ground or something like that. They didn't have piercing bullets back then, so they might the bullets, the pellets or whatever, might just have penetrated the front. But it all depends on at what angle did the bullet go into the body. So let's check this person.
Brian Vercotti. Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die. He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. He tried... The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
Alright, so his body tells me that because he was a ruffian, he hanged out with the wrong crowd and probably got into fights and stuff. Normally, plus he was in prison, so it makes sense that he would hang around like prim and proper people. Also, he would make enemies because of this. He has a tattoo from prison, so that's sort of a clue. If you find someone who has a similar tattoo, we could tag them as associates or friends if it's similar. And he was trying to stop the bleeding from being shot, but the pain was directly to his stomach, which means it probably was hurting him a lot. But he didn't know how to stop it or fast enough, so he bled out and died. So the cause of death was very slow. All I need to know though is how deep into the body did the bullet lodged in and at what angle. That's what I'm really interested in.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Okay, so this guy, his death was swift. I'm trying to think of this from a point of view of what weapon would be powerful enough to go through his head and then after going through his head hit the criminal guy in the stomach at the same time. But not that, there's not a weapon like that back in the day that's that powerful. So 2 shots might have been fired, or the killer might have perfectly aligned both guys together. So he would have to be aiming downwards and hit him straight through the head from the back of the head for the bullet to go to the front and then hit him in the stomach. So you would have to know exactly when to fire to kill him automatically, but to make other guys suffer in the stomach. So he would have to know that the other guy was standing at a certain distance for it to hit him in the stomach. Maybe he wasn't trying to hit him in the stomach. Maybe he was trying to hit him in the brain and he couldn't get the brain, so he got this one in the brain, but the other one in the stomach. So that's my working theory. If both of these men weren't carrying guns and the rough guy pulled out a gun and shot him in the head, and this guy pulled out his own personal gun and shot him in the stomach. Both of them, if both of these guys didn't have guns, then they were shot from a distance, or a third party was present that shot both of them. Yeah, that's what I'm going with for right now.
The bullet struck his head. This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
A hell of a thing being sleepy, man. Like every turn, every chance I get, I fall asleep. I do something, I do a type of labor, I fall asleep. Alright. Wait a minute. Was the R1 there?
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look. This shard of wood is quite new. Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Okay, so the second shot was louder than the first. Now, that doesn't make sense. If the person who did the shooting was one person, then the second shot wouldn't sound louder than the first because it's coming from the same gun. Like, guns don't automatically increase their sound. Once you fire them off, they sound the same. So if the second shot sounded louder than the first after the person shot the first guy, then the second shot should have sounded the same towards the second guy. They don't increase in volume. They're just guns, tools. It would sound the same. So, shenanigans. First shot was from a different gun. Well, was from the primary gun. Second shot was from a different gun, if it sounded louder than the first. So unless this guy's completely lying, and it would be very plausible that he's completely lying, because only an idiot would assume that a gun would sound louder the second time around, or he's telling the truth, and the only way for a gun to sound louder the second time around is that all of the noises around were dissipated, and the second shot was louder because there wasn't any disturbances in sound volume from any other thing around the area. So that's the only thing that makes sense with regards to his story. So he was at the window. He saw what happened. So that's what I was curious about. The cop said he saw a guy in the window. Well, he didn't see a guy in the window. The cop says he saw a window that was open, but it was dark. So it would make sense what happened now. He saw a crime, and then he ran down to try to tell the cops what he saw. But during that time, when he left to run down, the cop was running towards the two dead bodies, and he saw the window open. So he didn't get downstairs yet. He was running downstairs while the cops was running towards the bodies, or around the corner. So that's what I'm going with for right now. I'm suspecting that he saw the crime. He ran downstairs, but he didn't get downstairs fast enough to speak to the constable by then. Not before the constable saw his window was open and it was dark on the inside. So he either turned the light off and peaced out and ran downstairs, or he's completely lying. And he turned the light off way before then, and he shot our victims, because it's easy to conceal himself in the dark, and no one would hear the noise of the shot if the fireworks were going off. So once again, sound is an effect here. So suspect number one I'll put is this guy, not as the killer, but possible killer. Suspect number two is a police officer, since he is a witness to what was going on. He gave testimony as well. So, and is there any other? No. For the moment, there are only two suspects, the cop and him. Alright, and I did check the bodies of both victims. One was shot directly through the head and the other shot directly in the stomach. So, if the death was instantaneous for the one that got shot in the head, then the one that got shot in the head was the first to go. Otherwise, he would have, the moment the first guy got shot, not in the head, the second guy would have started to run, and it would be hard to get a lock on him and shoot him in the head. So He was the first to drop, and then the second guy got shot in the stomach. But I need to know the angle of the bullet. Was it like someone standing right next to them, gunshot, or someone shooting from a high place, gunshot? If the bullet's angled downwards, then that will tell me something. So 2 people so far, so let me profile this guy. Makes him even more suspect now. He has a medal from a war. Means he knows how to handle weapons. So even though he spent time in the military and served his country, he's still a poor guy. His compensations were not great. Wait, what? Weak what?
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
I'm so glad that the murderer has been caught.
Okay. Alright, so dark window. Who's this? Turner's view. Okay. Right. So the cop doesn't know it was Turner when he was coming down or turning the alley. Okay. Different shots? Not necessarily. It would make sense that it would be different shots. Absolutely. If Turner heard 2 sounds of gunshots, one louder than the next. So the first could have been a louder gun, the second could have been a quieter gun, or he only heard it when the fireworks was dissipating. 2 victims, 2 shots, 2 victims. Nope, just like I thought. I love it when a plan comes together, as Hannibal used to say in A-Team. So you cannot assume that because there are 2 victims, then that means there are 2 shots. It has to be like I said. The same thing I stated with regards to grass in the high fields. If the wind hits the grass in the high fields, you can't hear anything. You have to wait till the sound's dissipated, and then you hear things moving around. So the person who took the shot when the fireworks were going off. Then, probably as soon as the fireworks start to slow down, he took the second shot, and the second shot was much louder than the first. So you can't say there were 2 shots. I just did that to prove a point. I'm glad sometimes when I pay attention to things, it makes sense. Because there were certain things with regards to previous missions that I was always questionable about. Like, how does that make sense? How does that work? That people just throw things together in the game and assume that's the way it is. That's not how science works. Now, this makes sense. This here makes sense. You cannot assume because there are two victims that two different shots were being fired. So that makes sense. My guess is only one shot was being fired. I just need to know from where it came from. From Mr. Turner's window. I would have to look at the angle of the bullet through the wounds, through autopsy. Or did it come from a person who was with them at close range? At close range, there would be more penetration of a weapon. At a distance, it would be less penetration. Because these are old-timey weapons, so the further the gun is away from the victim, the longer it would take for the bullet to go all the way through to the body. So it went through, but not all the way through. If it was close angle, it would have been a different story.
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Okay, so Wiggins' brother was taken in. So this is a case to help Wiggins. Yeah, there's a huge contradiction in your statement, friend. If he heard two gunshots, if you heard a gunshot, the first gunshot was louder than the second gunshot, you can assume that they didn't come from the same weapon.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
Yeah, that doesn't, Okay, wait a minute. But didn't he say he ran down here? Okay, so let's take it careful. He ran down once the police arrived to check the dead bodies, not before. Check, got it. So he was at his window the whole time in his dark room. And he only came down once he saw the police was there. So the only thing that makes sense is he would do that because he doesn't want anyone to think he was in there. That's why the lights were off. And he only came down once he saw police officers there because he doesn't want, he doesn't know who the criminal is or if the criminal would still be there. He waited for the cops to appear, then he came down. Let's see. But he said he stayed at the window. A piece of wood was found underneath the guy who got his head blown off. So the guy who got his head blown off, there was a piece of wood there, like a chair or something, was broken. I didn't pick the correct answer.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
I didn't pick the correct answer with regards to the limp or any of these. I'll probably get these wrong because I'm falling asleep. Like, I could swear I got enough sleep last night, but I still feel tired. What the hell? I know today's my day off. Like, the only reason I was able to put that many hours in the last one is because as soon as I got home, I jumped on this game right away. So technically, the time I got home was a Monday. And But I haven't slept. That's the issue. I just want to finish this, man. I want to be done with this game before July. So I don't want to remember any of this. He probably was talking. I was probably sleeping and snoring. I just hope I wasn't snoring while I had the headset on. Door key. Okay, I'll go with the piece of wood. It's probably not it. Yeah, it's okay. So neither are it. I don't remember what he was saying,
yes,
to be
Mr.
honest.
Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
I would miss a lot of things when, like, these aren't games that you're supposed to not be paying attention to. You have to pay attention. So...
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Well, what happened is Mr. Turner was probably by the window. The stupid constable didn't realize that you can't really see someone in a window if the entire room is darkened. He had the lights off, so he was at the window. He just wasn't at the window. He was probably looking at the window from a side where he could see the lights and everything, but no one could see him.
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window.
So 2 men were here. They both got shot. It didn't occur to the killer once these two were shot that a dude had his window freaking open the whole time, looking down here. I'm assuming he or she is probably thinking, oh, the lights are off, so no one's home. But there's a window here that was open. Logically, the person would think to themselves, like, that still doesn't mean no one was there. So the reason his lights were off is because he probably saw what happened. That's why he took the lights off. But the only way to find out if that's true or not is, well, the guilty party. Once I find the guilty party might admit something with regards to the lights being on here. So if the guilty party does say something about lights being on, and after they kill the person, the lights are off, then that guilty party would be coming after this person in this window. So the guilty party would have to have known that the lights were off the whole time. That's why the guilty person wouldn't come after this guy in his apartment, because he had the lights off the whole time. Why would he have the lights off the whole time? That makes no sense. He will be able to bump into his chair, his television. Well, there's no television, but bump into his chair, bump into his lantern, anything. Without lights on, he wouldn't be able to see. So it doesn't make sense for him to have the lights off the whole time. Because he doesn't know a crime was going to be happening here. So it wouldn't make sense for him to have his light off. His light was probably on the whole time. And if his light was on the whole time with his window open, then the criminal, if the criminal was there, would have saw that his light was on. And as he left, unless he left in a panic, he would have saw the lights came off. So the criminal would automatically know that this guy saw something. which means someone's gonna come after this dude, or this dude is both lying, and someone was in his window. It's either the cop is lying, either the cop is lying or he's lying.
Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Yep, the cops. The cops showed up after Leighton Chapman was seen looking at the body, and so they arrested Leighton Chapman and took him to the yard. Okay. I'll ask you information after I check your place. Kitchen knife.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp.
So what? A bullet killed the enemies. Or these victims.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp.
Unless the knife was used to carve bullets. Well, let's see. The second guy had a stomach wound. So if the stomach wound wasn't from the bullet shot, then how would... Yeah, that don't add up. Stabbing to his stomach, he would have to be there on the street to do the stabbing. And then slowly, if his leg is as messed up as it is, walk back up here, get back into his apartment, clean this off. That doesn't make sense because the constable, the police ran around the corner. He would have saw him going back into his house. Yeah, so that make no sense. What would be the relevance of that?
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Okay, so what? Cut paper off of what? Paper article of a newspaper? Well, it'll reveal itself to me in time. Obviously the knife is not the murder weapon, but it'll reveal itself to me in time. Interesting. This is a piece of broken off wood. The broken off wood was found underneath the guy who got shot in the head. And it's a cane used for walking. He had a limp leg. So it would appear that our boy here, Turner, was on that street when it happened. Yes, but how would he be able to move fast enough to get back into the house? But he can't outrun the constable. By the time the constable was on the street looking at one side, the moment he heard the gunshots and scream, they would run around the corner. The constable would have saw someone go into the house. Like this guy ain't Usain Bolt using a cane and all, so that's very weird. Unless the only thing that makes sense, our constable is lying. He wasn't on the corner of the street before he turned around and saw the two dead bodies. That's the only thing that makes sense. For him to actually be there, Turner to actually be there. He would need enough time to get back into his house without being seen.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Well, now something else popped up in my head. It doesn't necessarily mean he was near the victim. It probably just means that he was walking down that street one day and his cane broke off there at that specific location. He wouldn't know that they were trying to kill each other or someone was trying to kill them on that day. So I can't also claim that he was there with them. I need more evidence to prove that to be the case, because he could have easily have walked there before and it broke off there. I need something more to solidify my belief. I mean, I believe he was there, but I need it to be more solid than it is.
The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Well, let's see. That is suspicious. He was trying to find something very fast, very quick, in a short period of time. Maybe he was trying to find a book on how to get a lawyer, to lawyer himself up, because he knew he would get in trouble. A book on how to get lawyer. Doubt it. Probably a book on how to clean up your mess. I doubt that either. I don't know. Not yet. I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to assume that that cane was part of. He was actually there either. I mean, any person who would, common sense would say, "Hey, is there? That means he was there, actually there." No, no. But people who look deep into things would say automatically no. Okay.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
Okay, so the burnt paper could probably be burnt paper from the books or a book that he found, then threw it into the fireplace, or papers in the book, or torn off and thrown into the fireplace. Why would he want to get rid of a book or papers in the book? This is just speculation at the moment, but it makes more sense with regards to the story following a pathway. It all depends on the pages here. I know it's related to the book. I'm just trying to think, like, what could be so important inside of a book that you would have to get rid of the pages in the book or the book itself? If it's not about lawyer, it's not about, how to repair something. You don't need to get rid of those things. The only thing you would need to get rid of is evidence of your involvement in a crime. So unless the book is a diary, I don't see what I need to do such a thing.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Doesn't mean anything. So he panicked and decided to grab a book and throw it into the fire. It doesn't necessarily have to mean anything with regards to being a killer. Unless he read something about... So it doesn't even matter. Even if you read the book about how to shoot someone from a distance, unless that's what it is. It's a specific type of book. that tells you how to shoot people, then that would make sense to get rid of it.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Okay, he came to that. I didn't come to that conclusion. How did he come to that conclusion? How do you know that he was... See, this is what I'm talking about. It's weird about this game. How would Holmes know that he was aroused from gunshots by the firing? Because he had the lights off and the window was open? Sure, you could say that, but you could also say the lights were off because he saw something. The game is making some bold statements, true statements, but bold, and say that this defining thing is what he absolutely was doing. I never liked it, ever since Black Peter. Now, here's the thing, if he was actually disturbed by this, and he went to the window, now that makes more sense than anything, than him actually trying to shoot someone from the dark in a window. He's a certain age, he's limping, and if it's a hot summer day, he would have the window open and the lights off, especially if he's sleeping. So I'm going with that. For right now, let's follow this. He throws something in there. Okay. He didn't throw it in there. As soon as he read it, he probably read it, came to the table to sat. But he said the knife was used to cut sheets of paper. So was he cutting sheets of paper of what was in the book? Seems like it. Otherwise, it would make no sense for him to get up, go there, pick up a book, and then just throw it into the fire without reading it. He has to do something with the book. So he did something with the book here. And whatever he cut out of the book, he decided to keep it and or Alright, so I'm trying to think. Okay, you wake up, you went to get the book, came to do something with the book. Noise happened at the window, went to check it out. Someone got shot, but he's down there as well. Oh, I think I know what happened. Alright. Okay. I got it. He woke up. picked up his cane. Okay, so wait a minute. Yes, like I said, he went down to pick up his cane that fell on the ground and it broke. It didn't have anything to do with dead bodies here. Let's pretend that he didn't see no dead bodies. So he got up, he went for a walk, and then he came back here. He decided to have a read. After he came back, he put his cane there, decided to have a read. And for reasons I don't know, he decided to cut out things from the book and then throw them in the fire. Yeah, I'm right on the money with regards to that. He woke up and decided to go for a walk at night. Ah. Ah. He didn't go for a walk at night. When he ducked down, it wasn't to pick up the cane. It's because they were already shot. So how the fuck? My question is, once they got shot, how the hell is he able to get back in this house faster than the cop coming around the corner without the cop seeing him? He put it there, picked it up, yeah. He read something in a book. So it looked like he took something off of the person. And then he checked a book to see maybe what it is. Then he threw it into the fire. Through the for whatever was in the pages in the book.
It didn't happen this way.
Yes, I agree. That makes no frickin' sense. That makes no sense. But like, everything was good until he went to do a reading, and then after saw the body, he decides to go read up on something and then start cutting stuff. Don't make sense. What happened is he got up, went to do a reading, and then he went over here, cut the pages out, throw it in there, and then he proceeded down the stairs. He came back up here. That's the only thing that makes sense. What I don't understand is what the hell is he cutting out of the... Let's see.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table.
See, that's what I'm curious about. Like, what the hell? He tore pages out of a book, put it on the table, and then started to use a knife to cut straight through them. Or he brought the book over to the table and then used the knife to cut the pages out of the book and then throw the pages inside of the fireplace. For what reason? What's so important about the book you need to cut that out? I mean, he obviously looked at the body and he obviously picked up something off the body. He didn't drop his cane. Alright, so let's play this the right way this time. Okay, so let me get all the way over here. Okay. Alright, that's one. And shit, missed. Two. And three. And three. And when he was doing that, he didn't hear gunshots. Wait, no. He didn't went. Because if he was cutting here and then he heard gunshots, he would immediately run downstairs. He wouldn't walk to the fireplace. So if he woke up, went to the window, and he saw gunshots, why the hell would he go back to read a book and then do a cut and then go downstairs? No. This makes sense. Alright, after he did this, he then walked through this. And then he walked over here. And then the last thing was downstairs. That's the only thing that makes sense. This one makes the most sense. Can I speed this up? Oh, okay, I can. Fast forward. Wait, what? Wait, what's going on? No, stop. What the hell? Reset. Why did he automatically come down here? That's not what I wanted to happen. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. God damn it. Reset. One, two, 3. Facing this way. 4. 5. And the final one is downstairs. Alright, watch. Fast forward.
It didn't happen this way.
Good. Then that means only one thing. The broken thing that's by here, he put it here by the books after it was broken. So that's the only thing that makes sense. He then decided to pick up the book, rest it here, pick up the book and slice. So the slice thing was the last thing he did. So the first thing he did was to get out the bed or went to the window. Really? What the hell? Oh, I see. Whatever he picked up off of the person, he probably went to the book to see what it's called or what its name, and then he got rid of any type of evidence that's leading to it. Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes more sense, a lot more sense. I'm still confused on how he was able to get back to his into his apartment fast enough. There, and then he did this after he discovered what it is that he was reading. He then got rid of information with regards to it, or he wrapped up whatever he found on the person's body in the paper, which doesn't make sense, and then he threw it out here. And now I'll do the sequence. So he got up, saw something, went downstairs, took something off of the body, or checked the pulse of the dead man, which she shouldn't have done, but I think he took something off of the body. Went back upstairs, went to the wall where his broken cane was, so that makes more sense. Put his broken cane by the wall. Then went over here, and either cut up paper. I mean, the knife is sharp enough to cut things more than paper, but he either cut paper out of a book or he was cutting the object. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
Hide? He didn't look like he hid anything. He looked like he put this thing inside of the book. Then he took the book over to the table, and then he cut a page out of the book to wrap it around in, and but why would he burn the cover of the book and the other pages and just keep the pages that he cut out to wrap around the object? It doesn't make sense. Well, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, no, actually, now that I think about it, that makes more sense. Why find an object just so you could burn it? But why wrap it in sheets of paper from a book? Absorb blood or something. Either way, I don't know. He's hiding something.
I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book.
That's what he did. He cut out the pages from inside of the book. Then he threw the pages that he didn't need into the fireplace and concealed the item inside of the book itself. This guy's kind of dumb. He wouldn't have figured that Sherlock Holmes would actually check it. The moment he allowed Sherlock Holmes to check his place, he kind of fucked up. So I thought he dropped his cane because it looked like he dropped his cane, but at the same time it did look like he was picking up something from the body. So this guy is a bold-faced liar. He wasn't by his window the whole time. He was outside. The only thing that does not make sense is a man with a cane was moving fast enough to get back into his house while a cop was running around the corner after he heard gunshots. So he heard gunshots. He went down and checked the body. That means the cop is also lying. There's no freaking way if he heard gunshots he'd run around the corner and he wouldn't see this guy either standing over the body or going into his house. So the cop is also a bold-faced liar. So two people lying. He's lying, the cop is lying. Holmes is going to call him out on his bullshit when he speaks to him again.
A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Alright, so now that I got this, I want to speak to you, you lying piece of garbage.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I understand. Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Wow, this guy's a real piece of shit. He would lie until the cows come home. Unbelievable.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
He's not a criminal. I guess a criminal who steals something will have to steal it from someone. I guess if the from someone is dead, then you're not stealing it from someone. Because you can't steal from the dead. Grave robbery. Grave robbery? Is that what it's called? Yeah, grave robbery. Means not technically grave, more like a dead body robbery. It's not really theft if the person is already gone. They won't need it. So he is lucky. If the person was still alive, it would have been a different story. And he would be a thief. In all truth, he probably is a thief. He lies so easily, he probably would steal. He's just lucky that the situation didn't call for him to steal. He is a poor man trying to make extra money, that's true. He definitely is untrustworthy in anything he says, so if he pops up again in future statements, nothing he says will ever be considered to be the truth. Now for you, Constable Marrow. You lying piece of garbage. There's no way you run around this corner here after you hear gunshots. I see, here's the thing. If he heard gunshots from here the moment he got by Half Moon Street, and he heard it, and then he start running here, even if the guy in the can was moving fast after he picked the object, he would have at least saw him turn the corner in here. The distance from here to here is not too far, even if he's moving really fast. The distance from here to here is about the same from there to the door. And distance from here to here is also there. So 3 paces, 4 paces. So I guess that could be the truth. But then here's the issue, the main issue. He was walking at Half Moon Street, and he says he was doing his standard duty, Half Moon Street, and he was looking at corners. I highly doubt when he was claiming at looking at corners, he was talking about the entranceway. The first corner would be here and here, and then he would hear the noise, and then he would run here. That, and here, here, and here is short enough to turn and see someone go through that door before they head up. If Mr. Marrow is lying, then he did not go in here and was looking at corners. He was just about to turn the corner when the gunshot went off. He was not inside here. Otherwise he would have saw the guy.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
So there's only one thing that makes sense in this scenario. Either he was just turning the corner here, or he never turned the corner at all. He was always here. And he heard a noise when he was in his bed. So he was always here. And he shot these two. The cop did it. No surprise there. But this is a Sherlock Holmes story. Typically it's the butler or the maid did it.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
No, I didn't see him at Scotland Yard. But I need to check out the street. So Mr. Marrow is lying as well. What street is this? Okay, so Half Moon Street ends here. It starts from the other corner and ends here. And this is Whitechapel High Street. Alright, so 2 witnesses were in this case. 3 actually. The cop, the guy at the window, Mr. Turner, and this woman. This woman saw someone run this way after they heard 2 shots. And the cops arrested Wiggins' brother. So Wiggins' brother was the one that ran this way. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. But let's hear her statement in all this.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that
My flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You were doing your own flower stuff here in celebration of the fireworks. A young man came running out of the corner, surprised you, and you saw him with a gun in his hand. He was pale white, as if in almost as pale as a ghost. That doesn't sound like someone who committed murder. It sounds like someone who's in shock because he saw murder. But why does he have the gun in his hand, I wonder? No, he didn't. She said he didn't have time to escape, so by the time he tried to run away, 2 cops were already at the north end of the street, the direction for which he ran to, and then they caught him. Quite convenient. This sounds like a setup. Set up by cops. I wonder if those cops know the value of that trinket, of the bracelet. It can't be that simple. Like, maybe, I think it's, if it is a police officer, it's just one police officer. The other patrolmen were probably just patrolling the streets. Like, he was patrolling his streets, and others were probably patrolling theirs. As soon as they heard the gunshot, they came that way. So, cops were patrolling these streets, and then all of a sudden they caught them. The shots.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
This is honest. If the fireworks were going off, you wouldn't be able to hear the gunshots. They would sound about the same.
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Okay, so prior to and after she didn't see anyone go in and leave Half Moon Street because she's always attentive for customers. Okay, so from her angle of where she's staying over here, she did not see anyone go in here or come out here at the time of the killing or before the killing. So no one entered through this way from Whitechapel. But this looks like there's a carriage that came in here. Alright, so wherever this criminal is, the criminal entered not from here. Entered from the other way, from Half Moon, and exit Half Moon. Never exit this way. So there are only two ways to exit out of this place if she actually is telling the truth. If she's telling the truth. They went back the way they came after they did the killing, or they went into Mr. Turner's place. Ran up the stairs. Let's see if we can find some exit place in his place. Oh, what do you know? There's a window back here. Now, if the game doesn't give me access to this window, then that means it definitely didn't come through this way, because there's only one way to exit out of this place. Either through here, which will just put you right back on the street again, or through that window back here. So unless the killer is still here and inside this thing here, highly doubtful. I would say you either are the killer or the cop is. And that's all there is to it. Because there's no way, if what she's saying is true, no one entered or no one exit out that way. The only way for them to enter or exit out any other way is here or there. So the suspect falls more in the realm of the cop and less on the realm of Turner, because he's too obvious to be a killer, to be the killer. But what would the cop gain from wanting to kill them? I don't know. They also, why I'm confused, well, I'm not really confused, but why I need more evidence, because if it is a gunshot and if it's not from close range, it's from an angle range, then the window makes sense. And if it definitely isn't Turner, and someone was using Turner's window to do the killing while Turner was asleep without him knowing, how would he not know? A man that lies so easily can easily be paid off because he's such a poor man. Yeah, I'm going with that. Someone paid him off, paid his ass off to keep quiet. Pieces are being put together slowly. Alright. Alright, I'll have to search archive. First thing, I'll go back to my place and search archive, then I'll go to Scotland Yard and check out what the Strat has to say, as well as the interrogation of the boy. So the boy will probably be this person right here with the cap. And whoever this character is an unknown. But he's definitely not the cop. But if he's definitely not the cop, then the cop definitely isn't the killer. Because when I'm a bit confused with regards to things, I do something else that's outside the realm of the game. The silhouette. This silhouette is not the silhouette of the cop, based on his anatomy. Unless this is the cop. Wait, actually, look at the cap. Let's try that again. No, this isn't the cop, nor is this the cop. So the cop is lucky, because if he was a suspect, he would be one of those people tagged. So it's not him. That's how I solved that one really fast, really quick. Unless the image that I'm seeing here, the silhouette, is him without the helmet on. We'll see. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah. First, we'll go back to Baker's and check our archive. Two victims, common statement. Yeah. So after the crime happened, he then exited at High Street. Nothing at the moment. Archive, and this one I believe is bracelets. Chemistry, poison, moves and injury. Marks and symbols. It wouldn't be under marks and symbols. It's not a mark, it's not martial arts. It would have to be in the encyclopedia. Art and architecture. Greek history. It says an ancient golden bracelet that was found with a distinct ram head.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. Here it is. I need to continue my research in my archives. Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more. Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Okay, so Kenneth Butler was in prison, but not for a long time. And when he did get out, he remembered where he stored the treasure, or treasures, the remaining ones which he didn't pawn off. And he was probably trying to sell it to a buyer. But said ram bracelet was found on the buyer's body, so he probably gave it to the buyer. The buyer was about to give him money, but they both got killed. So I got the keys off of his body in the alleyway, and he had the key to the pawn shop. Very interesting. So he didn't just show up to the pawn shop to pawn the goods. He actually has a key in order to get in here. So the pawn shop guy gave him the key. Either he stole the key off the pawn shop guy, or the pawn shop guy gave him the key. Which is weird, because the pawn shop guy basically called the cops and told them he was selling illegal or very questionable artwork to him. So why would he go back to the guy who made sure he got captured in prison? That's very strange. Unless he went back here after the guy arrested, killed the guy for telling the cops or speaking to the cops, and then took his key after he got out of prison. It's the only thing that would make sense.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Okay, so out of everything on this wall, the flare pistol is what's important. So a sailor pawned off a flare pistol. Hey, what was that? Oh, it was the same one. Okay. See if we see anything. No, nothing. What is this?
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Okay. A bunch of irrelevant things, just like before with Black Peter. So we got a sailor dude and we got someone who does hiking. Okay. Alright. I just checked this. Yeah, just do. What else? What about this? Okay. So that's all. Just this. So two things are present here. This and the other one. That's all. Oh no, something else.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft. It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
So let me get this straight. This guy goes to the pawn shop guy. If I'm assuming that Kenneth Butler is the same guy that stole the stuff, the treasure, and pawned it off. If I'm listening to the story correctly. So he pawned it off, come back here, and then like years later after he got out of prison, he decided to take over the pawn shop. That's the only thing that makes sense. If he didn't kill the pawn shop guy, then he took over the pawn shop, probably with the money he got from the stolen stuff. And the pawn shop guy ended up retiring. That's the only thing that would make sense, that he has the key to this place. He's now in charge of it. Wonder why the hell he would want to take charge of the pawn shop. Of all things to take charge of, you want to take charge of the thing that was the reason for you going to jail. Pawning? It doesn't make sense. Alright, let's continue. So what now? How long have I been on? 2 hours. Alright, so I'm gonna call it a day on this for right now. And actually, yeah, I'm getting really tired, man. I'm gonna call it a day on this for right now. I did 2 hours. I really want to finish this by... That's the thing, I really want to at least get halfway. I need to get halfway into the story. I don't want this to take up any more time in July. I'll go to question the kid now. I'll fight through the sleepiness and hopefully I'm able. Once I unlock the third guy within the photo of character portraits, once all three of them are there, then I'll stop.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
He always make fun of Lestrade when he has the opportunity to do so. But Lestrade is so dense you cannot tell when Holmes is making fun of him. Like he sees Lestrade as a blunt object. That's all. Like his way of doing police work is very systematic and has many holes in it because it's systematic.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work, and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
Wait, something doesn't sound right here. I thought the woman said she didn't see anyone go in and out of the location other than the kid itself. So she's lying too. The only people I saw bend over the dead bodies was the man Turner. And he didn't have a gun. So someone was there, someone killed them, and someone did exit out of the other direction. For which she is lying and said, no one else exit out of here except him. Yep, ain't nothing but a bunch of liars going on here in this game. This one specifically has a lot of liars, a lot of people lying.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand, though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Alright.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
Okay, so the woman saw the person who the woman saw running out of the alley was not him with the gun in hand. And the gun wasn't like a gun, it was a flare gun. And he fired the flare gun in the direction of our young gentleman here that was chasing him. But he saw it was weird. The weird part is it was in the middle of the street, he says. So in the middle of the highway corner after leaving Half Moon. So he saw the woman who was the florist fire the thing either before exiting out or after, and ran away. But then they caught him. So what the hell was the florist doing? If she's so attentive, can't she distinguish one man from the next? Which can only mean one thing. She was either paid off or she wasn't paying attention. She didn't see him running out. She only saw one person running out, which means she has either stepped away from her flower stand or she was trying not to get shot, so she turned away. And when the cops arrested him, she automatically assumed that it was him. So either she was paid off or she was not paying attention as much as she stated she was. I need to know who this third man is.
Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
His jacket. He was wearing a jacket. Just wondering what that noise was before. It's coming from outside. Alright, let me profile this guy. That's the thing I'm curious about. If you assume that a guy killed two people, why in the living hell on God's green earth would you chase after this man? That's like the opposite thing you do in any situation. What he's doing doesn't make sense at all.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
There's something about this that doesn't meet the eye. No one would ever do what he does at all. Pick a gun from a dead man's body, pursue the person who did the killing down the street, and assume that he might get away or trap the guy so that the cops would get him. That guy. The moment the cops see you with a gun, they will think you're involved somehow. So he's gonna screw himself over. So I'm gonna pick this one for reasons why he's committed a crime before. Because he's a thief. And he's a ruffian. So it's more than likely he's been to prison before. And it's also more than likely he has met this person in prison before.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
Oh, God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
That does not explain the fact that you would pick up a gun and want to chase after the man that killed someone you knew from prison. Someone you have a brand with. Let's say he's part of a brotherhood, made friends in prison, join a brotherhood. Why chase him down, shoot him? Because he shot your criminal brother from prison? No, that don't make sense. If you're trying to lead an honest life, you wouldn't have picked up that gun. Yeah, something going on with him. I don't know.
It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Okay, I have to stop it now. There's a lot of noise going on outside. So I don't like when I hear a lot of noise going on. It means there are a lot of snoopy people. So I'm stop it right now. I'll come back to this sometime later. I have to.